here in the perimeter, there are no stars. Out here, we is stoned, immaculate.
Hello and welcome. This is the C86 show. I'm David Eastaugh. As you know, we love a special guest. This week it's going to be the turn of the French musician Martin Dupont, who I spoke to very recently to find out more about life, love, poetry, and all that other groovy stuff. Did several albums in the 80s and then went back to his studies and day job, which is very interesting. And then recently has put out 2 albums, the latest being You Smile When It Hurts from 2025. So, after several minutes of interesting but casual chat, we get down to the exciting subject of the early formative years. Martin, it's over to you.
Maybe the Rolling Stones. I remember I was a kid, bored with my family, having a picnic on the road, and I heard for the first time Jumping Jack Flash.
Right.
It was like opening a door where I could escape from this world with my parents. And after, I remember with the money they gave me for my lunch, I bought records, things like Beatles, of course, but things like Manfred Mann.
Right. Classic pop from the 60s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was my first pop impression. Yeah.
And what was your hometown or city? Where were you brought up?
In Marseille, south of France.
Right, so there you go. And so did you, because obviously, as I mentioned, I'm sort of in my early 60s, but did you experience the sort of the 60s kind of revolution, the counterculture during that sort of period?
Not really, because I was in a very severe boarding school in a Catholic school, and so I was outside. I was more singing in the church, in the chapel of the boarding school, and I had emotion with Bach music, and the oldest pupils were listening to the first Beatles and Rolling Stones records, so I was trying to go in their room to listen to this music, but I was not at all involved in that. I was too young at the time.
Yes, absolutely. And with the boarding school experience, did you leave at sort of 16 at that point, or did you sort of, go on to higher education and university?
In fact, I moved several times, and after, I could say 17, I've been to the university to be now I'm a surgeon, so to make my medical studies, and I was so greedy of music. It was my major budget, just buying records.
Yes. So you went sort of, did you say you're sort of you were a medical student, sort of specializing in, did you say
Yeah,
eyes?
I'm ENT surgeon now.
Ah, a what surgeon?
Facial and neck surgery.
Blimey. That's
Plastic surgery, cancers, and all that.
My God,
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I've ever met somebody. I mean, I've met a few people who are doctors and people who've had PhD. Well, yeah, that's the same. Yes, and a few people who've got OBEs, but I never met a sort of a person who was in the music world who was a surgeon.
Yeah, that's funny because, in fact, I stopped doing music just because for being a surgeon, you have to be as best as possible, because during an operation, there's no way to go to see on your books or to call your mother. You have to be efficient first time and to do the best. So I decided to sell all my electronic instruments and to focus on my specialty, and I did that with such a passion that I was quite young, head of a big department in a main hospital in Normandy.
Right.
Yeah, and so I came back to music through an American label from New York, Minimal Wave. Veronica Vazika contacted me and say, "I love your music. Would you accept me to reissue your records?" And the new story started like that. But
Yes.
I didn't think at the time that I could, but I did. I was lucky enough to meet people to play with and to go on stage again and to
Oh,
do brand new
yes.
albums.
So God, I'm sort of digesting this very exciting part of a musical world. Like I said, I did not see that one coming. So during the 70s, then you were studying, and then you became a surgeon during that time.
Yeah.
During the 70s, at the same time
No,
when you
no,
was.
afterward. Yeah, yeah, I'm not that old. No, no.
But I was just
No, yeah,
okay.
I
So
was, I was in high school at the end of the 17s.
right, so
Yeah,
you were still studying away there.
yeah, yeah.
Right, so you were there.
Yeah, don't forget that for being a surgeon in my country, it needs about 15 years.
Right, that's a long period of time actually of
Yeah, I think
study.
so, yeah.
So right, so when did you start studying for your um yes special your
For my
specialized
specialty, yeah,
yes
I mean, yeah, I would say I started the specialty in 1984.
84, which is kind of so. Then, as the 80s progressed, did you during the 70s though? Did you did you sort of go through that musical experience of listening to every band, or what scenes were you particularly interested in during the 70s?
Um, I liked the kind of progressive stuff like King Crimson,
Right,
the first Genesis period.
the first with the Peter Gabriel period.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't go for the Phil Collins 80s then.
Yeah, I mean more Peter Gabriel. Yeah,
Yes, well,
um,
nice.
and I loved an underground label in England called Recommended Records with bands like Enrico, Art Bears, things like that. You don't know that maybe. It was
Recommended
more
records.
Enrico, it was quite experimental. And yeah, I love to listen to this underground stuff.
Yes.
It would
There's a
be,
band called Henry Cow. Is that the same band?
yeah, Enrico. Yeah, it's my
Henry Cow. Right.
pronunciation.
That's yeah.
Sorry,
No. God, it's fine. My God,
my English is
your
not so
English is,
good.
to be honest, is very good. I mean,
No, no,
don't
you're
don't
kind.
don't don't expect me to sort of have the same ability in French. Oh, recommended records. Right. So that was well, that's interesting because that also features Chris Cutler, and
Yeah,
there was a guy who I
yeah,
interviewed called Nick Hobbs, who was kind of.
yeah. This is it. Yeah,
So I interviewed him because he was in a band in the 80s called The Shrubs, and they bizarrely are on this cassette, The Shrubs.
all right.
So he was in an indie band, but before that, he had a little bit of I think, did he manage Henry Cow or one of those bands?
It was involving, but
He
I
was
don't
he was
know.
involved. Yes, I think
Yeah,
he was. He was a mover and a shaker. He was a busy chap. Oh my God, that's amazing. So then yes, because I had a brother who was 7 years old and he was into prog rock. It was yes, Genesis, Wishbone Ash,
yeah,
Barclay
yeah,
James
yeah.
Harvest, the solo work of Rick Wakeman. He loved all that stuff. It was all what he wanted. And Van Gelis, Patrick Moraz. I remember those kind of records.
A bit less for me.
Yes. So that was, but then the 80s came and I became very keen on the indie pop scene,
Yeah,
the Smiths,
yeah.
people like Julian Cope, Echo and the
And for
Bunnymen.
me, Roxy music uh, made made a difference because I love the way of singing of Brian Ferry. It was more sensitive than before, I think, and the the way Brian Eno used synthesizers was original for me. it was not doing classical music with new sound. It was just creating a new way of using synthesizer. And
Yes.
it was the first time it changes the things for me to escape in a new kind of music.
Yes.
It was
Did
very
you then, so when did you start getting interested in making music? When was your sort of moment?
in fact, as a teenager, I started to play guitar and then bass guitar in in little bands in Marseille, and I started to play with in jazz bands to improve my techniques. And I was one of the first playing fretless bass
Right.
in Marseille. I love a French band called Magma
Okay.
because the rhythm and the bass part were so powerful. But it was very, very underground at the time.
Yes. Was Mick Khan from Japan? Was
I,
he a
I I love him. I love him. Of course. Of course. Yeah, yeah.
right?
Especially his work. I love Japan, especially the more mature albums, the latest one. But Mick Karn's has got a wonderful sensitivity and a way. I mean, for example, I was, as most bass player, I was impressed by Jaco Pastorius.
Oh,
So
of
to
course.
me,
Yeah,
Mick Karn
Jacko.
is more lyric, more powerful, more original, more bittersweet, oriental. I mean, I love his playing. Yeah,
I think one of my favorite singles from the 80s was the one that Mick Khan did with David Sylvian called Boy, or Heartbeat. I think it was one of those. It was a long time ago now, but it was a very sensitive song and it was beautifully,
exactly. Yeah,
it had all that fantastic ambient sensitivity that us
exactly. Yeah,
angsty little indie kids loved at the time.
yeah,
So there we go. Then as the 80s in this country, we had the sort of punk and then we had post-punk and then that new wave started to appear, and then bands like Depeche Mode and Cabaret Voltaire, Throbbing Gristle, and then
yeah.
Depeche Mode started to hear Human League. I think I probably mentioned Depeche Mode twice there. So, yes, did that sort of sound, or did some of those scenes, did they get you very excited at that point? Did the early
Yeah,
80s?
yeah. I was greedy of all that because most of the things were interesting for me. All the bands you said, of course, and but Cure, Joy Division, Simple Minds. I mean, Talk Talk, um, even some quite commercial things for mainstream stuff were interesting at the time.
Did you like Sade? Did you find the production of Sade by her producer was Robin Miller, who kind of had that really nice sound for the part of the 80s. Was that on your radar, or was that a little bit too
No, I missed that.
Sade Diamond Life? It was one of those it was to be honest, if you people who own that also owned Phil Collins' Face Value and Simply Red. It was a bit too mainstream for such an indie kid like myself, but yes, we did sort of occasionally like Sade. I'll have to confess on air here, really. So, what was your first gig you went to at this point?
um,
Can you remember your
the
first
first
concert?
the first gig, uh, I was 15 years old, probably. It was Genesis with Peter Gabriel.
Wow,
Yeah,
that was quite something then. Yes, was that kind of mind blown?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was impressive, and quickly I've seen King Crimson with Robert Fripp, of course, and uh, Pink Floyd with the ballet. Roland Petit was a choreographer, a French choreographer, and they mixed the ballet and Pink Floyd playing a
Oh,
huge place in Marseille. It was impressive.
Right, yes. So was that in the 70s, that the late 70s, that period?
Exactly, yeah. And there were a band I loved at the time. It was Van de Graaff Generator with
Oh,
Peter
yes.
Hamill. I've seen them. I was impressed.
Well, did you continue with your love of Peter Gabriel through his solo work and, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, he's got a lovely project at the moment, hasn't he? He's releasing a single on every full moon for the year.
All right. I didn't know that.
And I like that kind of cosmicness, that kind of
Yeah.
connection to the universe or the galaxy. And I just think, God, he's still interesting and quite relevant, which is, it takes a lot of doing when you get a bit
It's funny because
older.
our latest album was mastered at Real World Studio by
Oh,
the
nice.
sound engineer of Peter Gabriel. Yeah.
You must have enjoyed. That was You Smile When It Hurts.
This is it. Yeah.
That was the one. So then, yeah, okay. So at this point, 83, 84, are you studying at this point and then then making music?
Yeah, I had a very hard schedule because I I started working at 6 o'clock in the morning to earn money. I work in a biological laboratory
Right.
to make blood tests and things like that. After at 8 o'clock, I went to the hospital to do my job as a medical student. After in the afternoon, I've been to the university to get my lessons, and I had just the evening and the night to work on my music. And when I was back from the university, I zoomed in my room. My studio was my room,
Yes.
and play music until uh, I I couldn't stand, so tired. And it happened that
God, that's a hell of a day. You probably had about 4 hours sleep and then did it
yeah,
all
yeah,
again.
but it
So
was
was your
great.
first single the one in 82? Was that Your Passion
Yeah,
and Lost and Late? Which has
this
got
is a
this is a great cover as well. And so were you on quite a mission at this point to yes, develop your twin interests? I mean, it reminds me, I think, of the story of Flashdance, wasn't it? She was a welder by day and a dancer by night, which is, not that dissimilar to you. Well, quite a lot, really. But yes, so you got that out, and what label were you on at that stage?
at that stage. I just thought to play just cassettes to my friend. Uh, I didn't think that I was a special musician. I never thought that I could get a musical genius. So I played as I felt, and play that to even at the hospital, to everybody, to the nurse, to the fellow. I say, listen to my cassette and the Walkman, and say, "Oh, your music is weird," but I didn't mind. And
No, well, that's a badge of honor when you're that age, isn't it? You want to be
and it
self-consciously
ended
left
up
field.
that some friends decided to make an association to create a label and produce the first single. I'm so impressed that you know that your passion is lost and late, because
Was that Turquoise D, your
this
label?
is it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right. So that was your mates. And then things are going well. You're sort of in your second year of study. And then the album, Just Because. So this
yeah.
was the one, which is, and this is is this on a bit of a bigger label at this stage?
No, I never had a big label. In fact, it was a friend of mine from the high school who who was a kind of manager and who produced that, but it wasn't a producer. It was just a friend, and he made that technical job to allow me to get the record issued. But it was small amount, and we never had any support, any uh, anybody to promote that.
Right. But
I
at the
must
same
admit that I've never been to contact any label or that.
No, but it's nice to be sort of yeah. Well, I mean, I would imagine it might help your studies in the sense of being able to sort of focus on something else for a bit of time, which is quite good. Because you're very prolific at this point, weren't you? You sort of the album comes out in '84, isn't it? Sleep, Just Because was your first album.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, and you have quite a sort of producer. You have a couple of producers, guest musicians as well, and
Yeah, because music is a question of sharing emotion, and I love to do music with different people. When a friend came in my house, I said, "Oh, would you mind to do that on the synthesizer, or would you want to try to sing with me, or anything like that?" I've got a lot of lost tapes.
right.
Yeah, I used to record in cassettes, silly things, and uh, in fact, sleep is a luxury made a difference because I met this English girl I married in late 1983, December 1983, Beverley Jane Crew. And I was so proud to play with her. And I thought in my mind, oh God, even British people who are the king of pop music can love my music. And she made me not more confident, but more engaged to finish properly the songs, because I was a kind of lazy boy, and I prefer to start a new song rather than working to finish properly one before.
Right. Yes. Well, it's quite good. And
And
also,
Beverly helped me.
did you feel? I mean, even though you were sort of very much kind of independent artist, almost an outsider, you must have been kind of curious hearing what other music was kind of happening over the channel there, and sort of what was happening in the UK, because it was a very prolific time, and we had, as I mentioned, the new romantic period, but there was also the Blitz kids and that time with various other bands, and equipment was changing as well a lot, like technology. Were you sort of constantly sort of acquiring and buying more material, more sort of software and hardware at this point?
Um, yeah, I was passionate about the technology and working on synthesizer. I even developed an extension board for the DX7 Yamaha, which was the first mainstream affordable digital synthesizer. And as I realized the way it worked, it was digital. I worked with an engineer and I made an extension board, and it was distributed worldwide. And I remember in England, my distributor was Rod Argent, uh, a shop in London, Rod
Okay.
Argent. Yeah, you know them.
No.
And people like John Fox bought my extension board, and it was funny.
Oh, blimey. God, that must have
Yeah,
been quite
and
something.
in the States, when I've been on big show like the NAM show to show my card, and I remember the American surprise and thinking, but how come do you do that sound with a DX7? And yeah, I
So,
ended up to be bankrupt with my business, but I developed this extension board.
God, it's a tricky world being a pioneer. So when you did Just Because, did that come out as a vinyl record or as cassettes?
No, it was a vinyl record.
Do
Yeah,
you remember how many you got manufactured?
maybe 1,000,
Right, and
and
did they?
maybe a second edition about the
Right,
same.
my God, I bet that's very collectible now, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, I would imagine goes for lots. I don't think there
Yeah, I
is a.
was surprised by the prices on eBay.
Yes. So
Yeah,
your second album is kind of expands quite a lot, doesn't it? With sort of extra people on it at this point. So
yeah.
where on your musical direction, where were you sort of feeling like you were sort of heading at this point?
I don't get it. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying the second album, you
Yeah.
bring in sort of vocalists and also other musicians. I just wondered if you were expanding quite a bit from your first album, and if there was a particular direction that you were heading for.
No, in fact, always had the impression to invite guest people to play with me, but I don't think about any direction. I play mainly with the feeling,
Right.
and my feeling could be modulated, but I was listening at the moment on another, and depending of my mood. And as everybody has time of happiness and time of nearly nervous breakdown. I don't know, but anyway, it helped me to stand the pressure of being a young surgeon, a medical student, because it was rough. It was not that easy.
Well, no, I mean, neither of those professions are easy, and doing two at once must have been very tricky. When you went to do your Hot Paradox
Yeah.
album, your third one, at that stage, this was 87, were you feeling like this was kind of coming to the end of this particular project of releasing albums? Because often,
Um, in fact, Hot Paradox was the album where I worked the most. I wanted to finish the sound to make it proper. So I did the whole stuff quite alone. Of course, there were the girls with the voice and Beverley playing clarinet and saxophone, but I worked hardly on the music, and I produced the sound, everything from the first beginning of the song to the mix, and I did everything on this album. And even now, when I listen to it, especially on a headphone, I realize that I made a, a very rich work, because you've got several layers. You can hear many things and details in that.
yes, so the sort of, I suppose one of the standout tracks is Inside Out, isn't it? Can you
Yeah,
remember how that sort of song comes about? What the...
yeah. I was playing with my sampler and started to make a simple melody, and Beverly did the lyrics. So I started to sing with these lyrics on the theme, and I was surprised to see that this song was sampled with many covers. It was used on the mainstream film like Cuckoo in America, and yeah, I don't know why it's so successful.
Yes, and the other track on it is He Saw the Light as well, wasn't it? That was the
I love
other...
it. Yeah, I love it. I started to do the bass part on my synthesizer, and then I thought, oh no, I'll change the bass by a monk voice, and it was this whoa. Uh, I mean, it was the way
Yes.
I worked.
Well, that's kind of yeah, because the previous album, Sleep is a
Yeah,
Luxury, the other one is I Met the Beast as well,
yeah,
wasn't it? What were
yeah.
your memories of that?
Oh, I met the beast. Uh, I started to do that on my own, and I was singing with a kind of Stan Ridgway voice on
Oh,
it.
yes.
Yeah, and I said no, it's uh, I'm not a copycat, so I didn't use that. And then Brigitte from the band uh, did her vocal with a good success on it, and I'm
Yes.
glad.
So
Yeah,
did you say Stan Ridgway from Wall of Voodoo?
this is it. Yeah.
God, I just love that band.
So do I. Yeah,
Mexican
uh,
radio and
yeah, Mexican radio and all their first stuff. I love that.
Cool
Yeah,
Box 123 or something. God,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
incredible. I know, what a band.
Yeah.
What a sound. And then, with having a cult, and you must have thought, you didn't realize at the time, but you became a cult status artist, didn't you? Who got sampled by various people decades later.
Yeah, I don't
Did that
understand it.
blow your mind?
Yeah, it does.
So you
It's
got,
difficult
was
to
it?
realize.
Yes. So
When I
with the sampling then, was it the case then that they asked you, or did you suddenly find it and then they went, "Oh
uh,
yes, we
for
do owe you."
example, Kenny West wanted to contractualize, he did the right job. It I received money and, I have the credit on the record and it was all right. Tricky didn't. He used my record and sampled it, and when, Minimal Wave contacted him to say, "This is a song from our label," uh, they just, issue a new version with a synth part rather than the sample from Martin Dupont. And it's a shame because it was nicer with my sample, and I didn't want money. I was so pleased to get in touch with Tricky, but uh, I I didn't have any relationship to be able to speak with people. So
Yes.
I would love to exchange with him. It's funny. That's incredible because I I met him uh, in Paris in a classical record shop called Harmonia Mundi. It was a shop specialized in classical music, uh, and I didn't dare to speak to him, but I never could have imagined that he would sample me some years
No.
later.
I wonder, because I did an interview with a guy called Mark Saunders who produced, I think, Tricky's first album. So was the track that he originally used, was that on, what album was that particular track on?
um, I don't even remember. Uh, I, I honestly I use Google to remind that.
Yes. And what about the Canyon
Any
West?
West?
Yes. What?
Yeah, it was for the Theophilus London album, and he made a cover of Take a Look.
Take a look. Take a
Yeah,
look. I'll have a look. So as the 80s progressed, sort of, you brought the last album out in 87.
yeah.
Is that the point when you call it a day at that point, or do you do a few other things? What happens in?
Yeah, I work with different people. I continue to work on my own this time, alone. I work with a choreographer. We did a ballet with a French choreographer, and the dancer were from Boston, and we had a show for mm, the anniversary of the Statue of the Liberty
Oh, blimey.
in New York, and I had papers on the New York Times, the Village Voice, and I showed that to my dad, and he said,
Oh, God, you froze. Damn. Oh, wait, you're back. No, you froze there.
"Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
What did your dad say? You said
Go
you should.
back to your medical study, lazy boy."
Oh, right. So was that the late 80s you did this ballet?
Uh, 1989. It was in New York.
Blimey. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, yeah, and the choreographer used that for a ballet who had a tour in Europe called Pellicola. It was a kind of parody of the commercial universe, and they she asked me to take parts of music of adverts and to distort that to make music above that.
Yes, my God, that
It
was
was
because I
weird.
remember at that stage I'd gone to see Marky Smith and the Fall, who was
Yeah.
performing with the Michael Clark Dance Company, So there was a lot of kind of collaborations like that going on
Oh,
at that
yeah.
stage.
And I work as well with fashion designer. And I remember a good remember, especially one who was chosen as the French designer to a biennale in Barcelona, and I made a special music for him. And just after the fashion show, a Spanish designer came to see him and say, "What is this music you use?" And he said, "This is the guy just behind you." And the designer was so pleased that he said, "Come in my shop tomorrow." And he offered me a beautiful coat. I was so impressed by that.
My God.
Fashion music, incredible.
Do you still have the coat?
No, but I love this coat. But I mean, it was a while ago.
Yes, well, absolutely, a long time. So then, so that was the late 80s. Then in the 90s, are you still studying at this stage with your,
In fact, uh, in 1990, uh, I I failed my specialist examination to be a specialist surgeon, uh, and I decided to sell all my instruments
right?
to focus on my work, and uh, I I worked so hard night and day for months, and I ended up to be major of the national competition for being
Surgeon.
for being a specialist. Yeah, yeah.
So when did you complete your
My mom was
studies?
proud. Yeah.
When did you complete your studies?
When I sorry.
When did you complete your kind of studies at that
Oh,
stage?
after that, it was a long process because it was not just the books and the studying in the book. It was working. I've been to improve my specialty in England, in the United States, in different services, and I made special improvement in plastic surgery, even in ophthalmologist surgery, even maxillofacial. I mean, I wanted to be very good in all the facial and neck surgery. So
Right.
it was from cancer to deafness to plastic surgery. I did facelift, rhinoplasty, and so on. And so,
God, that's just yes, I'm
but
still boggled.
it took years. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. So that was your throughout your 90s, and then you just continued through the O years as well, sort of
And
working.
I was head of the department as a senior surgeon 19 in the middle of the 90s.
Right. My God. So you were sort of one of the, I don't know, top dogs, I suppose, in that world. God, that's amazing. Just as a curiosity, what's it like? I mean, I've had big operation once, and I just kind of I find it quite boggling, just the process that you go through, and the fact that that surgeon that you meet a few times is going to do this operation. Is it quite when you first do it? Is it just like starting the process? Is it just what's it
In,
like for
in fact,
what's it like for the surgeon?
it's more difficult than people can imagine. I said to give uh, an example to my fellows. I used to say it's like. You have to learn to play tennis. You just have to take a racket and to throw the ball above the
The net.
strings. Yes, I've got it. It's easy, but when you've got the racket on your hand, in front you've got McEnroe, and you realize that it's so hard. And in fact, I remember because I love to teach to my residents in my service, and usually I leave them starting the operation, and I noticed that very quickly they were lost. When a good surgeon start to operate, it show you this is this artery, this is the nerves, these nerves, and so on. You see, this is the muscles, and so on. But when they started, they've got the impression that they can do the same, but in a few minutes they are lost. It bleeds. They don't know what was that. I mean, it's more difficult
Yes, well,
than
I
you
know.
expect. So
It,
you
it
have to work and to work and to work and to operate safely with a senior surgeon able to help if needed. And the the in fact the highest improvement in my abilities was when I was head of department by myself, because there were nobody to call if the situation was hard. So many times when I had difficult operations, I used to think of that during the whole night before, and it ended up that finally the procedure wasn't that I could have read on books or seen before or imagined in my mind. And the night after, often I was thinking, what could I've done better? Or, but most of the time, fortunately, the patient was right. But
Right. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I did
yeah,
remember being very fascinated after I had this major operation that
yeah,
on Desert Island Discs they had two people who were surgeons talking about, you know, their world and their skills and how they developed. But one of them did mention that he would put a soundtrack together when he did his surgery, that he just, to sort of keep himself focused. Did you ever have music playing when you were operating at all?
yes, yes. Especially when I did the heavy cancer surgery. It was long and very, very hard operations. I used to listen to classical music like Mozart and so on, uh, because it it takes off a bit of the drama and makes your soul a bit quieter, because you have to be concentrated. And
Yes.
because sometimes I have to operate during hours, not eating, not drinking, and it was not that easy. And uh, after I wanted to listen things I like, but the anesthetist was a bit upset with my pop music in the operating room.
Yes, I know you can't.
And now it's nice because, for example, for the moment, I've got a young anesthetist working with, and he's always playing music on his computer close to the respiratory machine. And
Yes,
I
well,
feel
it's
better with that. I
but
love having music with me. Yeah.
well, it's yeah. I mean, when people have 12-hour operations, I mean, kind of recently, I had somebody who he had a back operation. It was most extraordinary. He showed me the scan, and it was I think it was something like a 10, 12-hour operation. I just thought,
That's
God,
positive.
they must have been shattered after that. It must have been an amazing work of art, really, doing that. So, yes, I do think surgeons are slightly gods because of obvious reasons. From the care, from their epidural, people knocked out. The next minute you just wake up in bed. I mean, screaming in pain with, wanting the morphine because it was kidney
Yeah.
cancer I had, but it was just like, oh my God, this. And then you met your surgeon. You thought, how did you, that's a hell of a responsibility you just did,
Yeah.
opening me up and sorting stuff out. And yes, it's incredible, the medical world. So then, oh yeah, just briefly, and this is a bit, just a bit of a cliche, but in the 80s, being obsessed with culture and music and film, we got into a lot of those kind of films that were, must see. Did you get into things like Betty Blue, Diva, Rosalind and the Lions, Les
Yeah.
Amants de Pont
Yeah.
Neuf?
Yeah.
Were they all films that were on your radar? Because the soundtrack to Betty Blue was especially iconic or
Yeah.
became very popular, didn't it?
Yeah. 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 Because in fact, I love uh, I don't know the word, RAC cinema. I mean,
Arty
experimental
cinema.
arty cinema. Yeah, I would say it like that. And I remember my first emotion with things like Eraserhead,
David Lynch,
Stranger
yes.
in Paradise,
Oh, Jim Jarmusch,
the first
yes.
Quentin. Yeah, I love cinema, and
What
still
about the
now.
three colors blue with Juliette Binoche?
Yeah, I did love it. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I don't know why, but those films, like you mentioned, Down by Law, Stranger Than Paradise, yeah, they were all there on our sort of radar, weren't they? As
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you bought the package. So look, you're sort of you've got rid of your equipment. Interestingly enough, you mentioned prog rock, but I was obsessed with David Bowie, and one of those characters came on my radar, so I did an interview. He was in a very early prog band in the 60s called Clouds or 123, and David Bowie had started to mention this band in the 90s
All right.
for various reasons. So what happened? I got an interview with him, and he said, "Yeah, David used to hang out with me." This was in the 60s when his career wasn't going very well, but he got so fed up with music that he just smashed his equipment up and never played it again, and that was the end. So your career wasn't quite so dramatic, but you obviously got rid of all your music. You studied, came to head of the medical profession at your hospital, something like that. I'm paying attention. Then what happens for you to have this sort of the second coming, so to speak?
Uh, when the American label from New York, Minimal Wave, issued my records in the United States, um, she played it on the radio, and there were more and more fans in United States. I don't know why and how come, but it started in New York, then in Chicago, in Los Angeles, and after some years, she said, "You should come to play in the United States." I said, "Are you joking? I've taught music and I use analog instruments, and I'm not familiar with the new digital stuff and so on, and on my own, because I used to do everything by myself using tape recorders on stage and so on at the time." So she insisted. She said, "You don't realize Martin Dupont in the United States, in New York, is not a small club. It would be uh, a big venue. You should make the effort." And I met a couple in Paris. They were a musician. I had all their album, and it was called Rise and Fall of a Decade. And I told them I should go back on stage, and I had the opportunity to make an American tour, and they said we could help you, and they started to work and to rebuild with the digital instruments the basis of my songs, and all the friends listening to that were enthusiastic. So we started to work to make a real tour, and we ended up to do an album, Kintsugi, because in fact, it we didn't plan to make a reconstructed work of my old songs. It was just in the beginning trying to make uh, a concert version for the live version, and it
Yes.
ended up to be an album. And what we played on stage was different. Was funny.
So when Veronica got in touch with you, this was like
It was in the middle of it. It was around maybe 2006,
right. My God, you
20
must have
years
thought
ago.
this is just going to be a passing phase, nothing more.
Yeah.
Yes. So then you have cult status in New York, and then, like you said, you brought the album out as well. So what was it? What was it sort of like playing? Sort of, because this is probably the first time you played overseas.
Oh, I was very impressed. Uh, uh, I remember the first time it was in San Francisco, and when we arrived in the venue, the support band was doing the technical checking, the sound check, and I was impressed because I found they were really good, and I said, "Oh God, I will not dare to play after that." I mean, I was the main band, and when we arrived on stage to put our instruments, the guy came and said, "I'm so proud to play with you." And you say, God, I'm lucky. There were an angel somewhere taking care of me.
Yes.
When I started to sing with all these people smiling in front of me, you forget your anxiety, and it helps, of course. And I was so happy and surprised to feel the enthusiasm of people, and especially in New York, the the public was crazy. It was we played sold out, and I would have never think that. And after the gig, uh, I said to Veronica Vazica, the girl from the label,
Yes.
"How come?" She said, "But you should realize that you're a kind of legend in the United States. Difficult to me. It's difficult to assimilate, but yeah, there's something weird. I remember in Lost in the Nevada." Uh, in a gas station, uh, I went to buy a bottle of water, and a girl seeing me say, "Oh my God!" I must admit that I have a T-shirt with Martin Dupont, but she knew the band, and she was mad to meet hers uh,
Wow.
uh, in a lost station in Nevada, but it was crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like, was it, there was one of those films, I don't know, one of those arty films which had,
It was a kind of Paris, Texas atmosphere,
it
and
was Paris, Texas. There was another one with a German woman who was kind of in America. And I just remember there was a scene with I don't know, was it a frisbee or a boomerang? Oh, hotel. God, it had the title hotel in it, didn't it? Baghdad Hotel, Baghdad
oh,
Cafe.
Wim Wenders, Baghdad Cafe. I love that. Yeah.
Yes, so it had that kind of quirkiness. I can't believe that's an extraordinary. You thought of all the things. So that album that you brought out, was it previous material that had been, or old material that had
Kintsugi,
been?
Kintsugi.
Yes.
Yeah, Kintsugi. It was the reworking the old songs. He Saw the Light is quite different from the Hot Paradox version, and uh, Love on My Side, for example. It was just I I gave that song as a bonus on an album, but I didn't finish that. So it was the opportunity to finish the song.
Yes.
And I don't remember which. Oh, for example, Nice Boy is so different from the original version. Uh,
Yes. God, that
and
must have been quite. So that was
and I
3
call
years?
that, you know what the Kintsugi art is? The
No.
Japanese the Kintsugi art in Japan is the way to repair broken ceramics with gold to make a, a more beautiful object. So it's why I call the album Kintsugi.
Right. Golden jewelry. The
Yeah,
art of repairing broken pot be mending fractures with.
yeah,
Right. So you sort of mend old things, but slip gold in the cracks,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Oh, I've got it. God, that's so brilliantly deep. God, this is so
And
profound. And then when you sort of met up with the label and Veronica, did you sort out all your publishing, and did she do all that kind of the business side of the operation for you?
uh, she started to do a compilation of unissued records, and then she did a box set with the whole collection, and I it was around, I don't remember, but maybe $200. And I thought, she's crazy. Nobody will buy that $200 for this unknown band. And she was sold out in 2 months, I believe.
Blimey.
So she reissued that. Yeah, it was part of the legend, because I couldn't believe I've seen on Instagram people from Japan, Australia. I've got it. it was a kind of trophy to get this box set.
That's just extraordinary, isn't it? Yes,
Yeah. For me, it's a
the
miracle.
complete collection. God, that is
Yeah.
amazing. So when did you start thinking about writing new material for You Smile When It Hurts?
Uh, because we were so enthusiastic about what was happening around us. I mean, the public everywhere in Germany, in France, in Spain, in the United States were so enthusiastic, seeing the people backstage so happy. Uh, for me, I had to go back to music. Uh, I don't have to prove anything as a surgeon now. I still work because uh, there's a real need for the population, and I love helping people. I love my job, but I don't want I don't want to sacrifice the music again.
No. So
So
you
I'm still in the continuous process, and I don't know if in England have you got the record store day?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I keep getting emails about it.
Yeah, and I'll issue a records with covers from other bands, American bands like Drab Majesty, Xeno, Clander, things like that, and French band people like Arnaud Rebotini, Marc Collin from Nouvelle Vague, and Mona Soyok for Cast Product, people like that, and then DJs. There's DJs from London, Peter Herbert, people like that, and we mix covers, edits, and unissued by Martin Dupont. It,
God, well, I'm going
mm,
to definitely check out that because,
yeah,
frankly,
it will be called New Paradox.
New Paradox. My God. So I have been watching your live performance that you've done very recently, which has been on YouTube. So you've got this rather funky looking band, haven't you? Of saxophones, backing singers, keyboard players, and you've got some pretty nifty dance moves. So is this a band that you put together just for this project, or
No, this is the band. There's still Beverley Jane Crew with me, who play saxophone,
oh
and
wow.
the 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 two from the Parisian band would join me and help me and allowed me to go back on stage. Sandy Casado and Cherry Santoni, and the third one is a musician from Rennes in Brittany, and he's a guy. He's an incredible guy. He did album of real Bollywood music, very high level, and the other album was a kind of I would say uh, contralto, no, contratenor music, like Alfred Deller. uh, he was incredible mixing the. Uh, I would say personal music and pop music.
Yes.
And
I'm amazed you haven't
he played
been
with
sort
us.
of asked to play at somewhere like Cafe Otto in London because you've obviously, all been
We never played in England.
that is shocking. That is absolutely shocking.
Yeah. Especially having Beverly was from London, and she was producer on the Contemporary Music Network, and so I don't understand why. I mean, nobody asked us in England, so as we've got many demons around, so we. Oh, I would love to. I would love to, of course, yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's going to happen
But
because,
in other country, I see people saying, coming from Glasgow, Newcastle, and say, "Come to play." It's funny.
I have noticed, and I suppose when I was younger, I always like to try and find a band from a long way away, and anybody local, you just went, "Oh, I'm not that bothered." Whereas discovering something from a different city or different country always seems much more exciting somehow.
Yeah.
But yes, I suppose it's just a bit. I'm just amazed because yes, on your sort of,
We
I met.
should. We should. Uh, we had the opportunity to play as a sportsman from Le Mystère des Voix Bulgares. Have you heard of that? Uh,
No,
Bulgarian voices. They work with Lisa Gerhardt.
oh yes, Was she from Dead Can Dance?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
God, 4AD.
I mean, our editor is the same for this band, and he proposed me to play as a sport band with them, but it's not official. I don't know it will be possible or what, but
Yes.
propositions to play in London, but uh, as we've got the financial realities, we can accept a low budget because we need to pay the plane and the hotel and so on. So maybe that's the
Yes.
limit.
This is
Depending.
always the trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So with this year coming up, you've got this album that's out. And also then, does that mean you've got any other live dates around the
Yeah, we
around
will play in Berlin in April of venues in France, Nantes, Aix-en-Provence, and we've got several propositions to play around, but our producer wanted to check that. In fact, the guy, the fourth guy in the band playing the keyboards, is our tour manager, I would say.
right?
He used to play all around the world, so he checked all the propositions to see if we will or not.
God, it's difficult. So where's the best place? You've got a Bandcamp page. Is there any other sites to find out your schedule for the year?
Uh, you will think that I'm completely crazy. I don't even know who owned my Bandcamp page.
I think that's part of minimal.
Minimal Wave. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah. Veronica is a clever girl, so it will. But I've never been on the Bandcamp, and because it's my weakness because as I work as a surgeon, of course, I'm not looking for money, but now I'm in a point I would like to be able to play in Tokyo without thinking, oh God, it's too expensive to pay,
Yes.
so on. And
Yeah, there is
I mean,
kind of there is that you do have a Bandcamp page as well. So I guess there must be some. Yes, I don't know.
I mean,
Someone must have.
she sent me money regularly, I must admit. But
So that's good. That's good.
yeah,
That's
but it's not in the same amount that I can earn as a surgeon, of course.
no, no, I don't think so. But I mean, it's great. It's that vinyl record sold out. I mean, your complete box set, which was,
Yeah, that's incredible. That yeah.
I mean,
And I've got songs, and each time I bring a box set in the merchandising in a concert, there's always people buying it in the first 10 minutes. I'm so
yes.
happy to get it. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
I just think it's just a lovely story, actually, isn't it? I had no, I don't know how you came on my radar, but it must have just happened one day, and I started thinking, oh, this is, and then I started watching the videos of you live, quite recently, and I was thinking,
Yeah.
this is, and then sort of realized, oh, you do go back to the 80s, and this would be a bit of a miss. Not to have you on the show because obviously it's just brilliant to yes, to hear the story. And I must admit, I have been a little bit starstruck with your.
I would be delighted if you would like to send me some connection to know more about the show.
Yes, well, what I'll do,
My universe, I would be delighted. Sure.
I will send you a link to this interview, and
Yeah.
then you can see the other ones. But
Yeah.
there's been a few. I mean, I did an interview with one of the members for Suicide, which was quite interesting, and various. Yeah, but like I said, I've done a lot of interviews with those 80s bands. So yeah, so it was good. But so with this and your project, it does sound like you're in a very good and happy place with it all, doing music. as a sort of unit, sort of from the little clip of you two of you dancing and singing and with this new album out?
Sorry.
No, I was saying you all seem to be in a happy place, on
Yeah,
that musical journey at the moment.
yeah. Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. It's and there's a lot of enthusiasm around that, and um, in France, we start to be, because we were more known in Germany, for example, 20 years ago than in France, and now we can to get more notoriety here. Yeah,
Yes, well, it's gonna. I mean, also you've had quite a lot of. I did see you on Spotify as well, and so you do get a sort of a good listening. The songs have all been well listened to, and you do get a good monthly listenership. Audience. So yes, well, I guess it's just going to get better and better, really, isn't it? As more people discover you.
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
We were lucky enough to get to be filmed by KXP, the TV from Seattle, and they were lovely people, and they did a good job. And since that, I think that we've got much more visibility,
Yes.
and it makes a difference. Maybe, I don't know, it's pure chance. We will
I guess it is, but then, I mean, to be honest, I've been watching those videos as well, so, and they're beautifully done, aren't they? It's nicely presented and nice kind of, just quality production, sound. So I'm sure people are going to love it, really. Anyway, look, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And, I'll keep in touch, Martin, and
Yeah.
best of luck for the year. I'm sure it's going to be good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Take care. See you
Thank
later.
you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
And that was me in conversation with Martin Dupont talking about his life in music. This has been the C86 show. David Eastaugh. If you want to contact me, you can on any of the social media platform sites. Just do C86 show. All these interviews have been archived on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean. It's true. Have a great week. Stay safe.